So, you like Elden Ring. You know every inch of the lands between more than you know your own 2 fingers. You know that you can kill the sleeping dragon at the start of the game for easy runes. Sleep pods trivialize the gods can do, and Gideon just wants a hug. Perhaps you think you're something of an Elden Lord yourself. Maybe you're even considering taking a whack at a speedrun.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard.
The amount of knowledge and skill required to speedrun a game is immense. Watch someone crack a game open like a cold beer and drink from the nectar that is pure unadulterated skill. I don't know where rung warps fit into that metaphor, but I'm sure they do somewhere. I've never pretended to be great at Elden Ring. I can beat the game fairly comfortably now, but that's a far cry from what's needed to get a time quick enough to actually compete in a speedrun category. The greatest runs feature perfect gameplay and focus I definitely do not have. Perhaps that's why there's so many Family Guy clips in these videos. But that's never stopped me. I just ate an entire pizza and now I have a stomachache, so let's speedrun Elden Ring. Casually. Let's keep it all cool, like. Now the nature of speedrunning kind of implies that it's impossible to do it casually, so that's it I guess. But what I mean is that I did not plan this run. Though I had a vague idea of what weapon I wanted to use, the order of bosses and what tools I would want were not considered before beginning. This was entirely off the dome, and it was an impulse to complete in the first place purely because I wanted to and was curious. So what's the aim? My usual playthroughs are about 8 to 12 hours, but that's including getting any special weapon I want to use and any additional fucking around. In order to beat a current time that's on the any % glitchless category on console, let's aim for 4 hours. Cool, let's get cracking. The first thing I do is choose Samurai as a starting class, because it has the highest stats for the weapon I want to use and also starts with a bleed weapon. The golden seed is far more helpful than any of the other stuff and can be redeemed for one free semen joke later on in the video if things get dire. Make like me in a room with any Dark Souls 2 fans and get the fuck out of there. I'm kidding. Probably. This will go a lot faster once we get our noble steed, who will never abandon us. We'll talk about that in the next video, and so go straight to Gatefront to meet our maiden. Pick up the Stone Sword Key and Golden Seed by Stormhill Shack, as both will come in handy later. As we make our way to Caelid for a number of things, I stop by to help Alex. I don't really need his talisman, but if you've got a moment spare in your day, choose to help someone out. Plus,
I've got time.
Wait, I am killing him? Why? I'm not really gonna use Ash of War, so like, what's the goal here?
You got a friend in me.
Swing by this graveyard for the sleep pot recipe and some golden runes. I'm not gonna mention it every time, but I hit up as many graveyards on the way for some easy runes on my travels. I remember Kenneth Hart exists.
Urge to kill rising.
Okay, get the physic and charged attack tier. Didn't know what the scarab was? Oh, that's where ground slam is. Oh look, Trina's lilies I don't get, probably won't need them.
Sometimes foreshadowing is relatively obvious.
Axe talisman for boosted charge attacks, we'll be doing a lot of those, so get the Dectus medallion from the
Fight battle pass.
Back to the third Church of America for the teleporter Dragon Barrow. Past the Erdtree Avatar, we're not killing you yet, and spirits bring up to Fort Faroth. No, I'm not stopping for the toilet, we stopped half hour ago.
We get there when we get there!
Fort Faroth becomes Fort Neroth, as we get the other half of the Dectus medallion, Radigan Sourcil, and a Golden Rune 12. From Fort Faroth, we head to Millicent exclusively for the Sacred Tier. We will not be helping her. I'm sorry, I'm speedrunning! Before we head to the second leg of our road trip, I make sure to get the Redmane Castle Site of Grace so I don't have to run there later. Back to Stormhill Shack to take the secret path to Leonia. Now there's a lot of running here that I'm going to skip over really quickly, but I want to take a moment to thank this video's sponsor, the Albinauric Foundation. Since Elden Ring's release, 12.8 billion Albinaurics have been murdered in the name of rune farming, and we're working to stop that. We ask that you source your runes from sustainable sources, such as golden runes, boss kills, or those sites where you can buy a million runes for a tenner. Do your part and spread awareness, and thank you to the Albinauric Foundation for sponsoring this video. Stop by Tops not to help, but for his shop, for the Sacred Tier, because I forgot, I need flask upgrades. Continue to the Boiled Prawn Shack where we find Bogart, and fucking murder him. And thus we have our weapon for the run, the balls. Thank you Unsheath, you did well. So there are a few things the weapon for this run needed to be. It needed to be fairly easy to get and not have too many requirements, as I didn't imagine we'd have that many levels to spare. Whilst I think the Blasphemous Blade or Death's Poker would have done a better job at just pumping damage, the Iron Balls tick these boxes. And they're also a meme. Could have pivoted to the Starfists once I got into Lando, but that would have been a new weapon to level up, and considering I was happy with the damage I was doing, it felt a little unnecessary. This whole run is unnecessary. With weapons on hand, we head back, take the teleporter to the Raya Lucaria gate, and practice the one speedrun skip I'm going to do. The key was left under a dragon. Could you not have tried a doormat or something? We keep going to the foot of the 4 belfries grace for something later. Using the key, we teleport into Raya Lucaria, grab this golden seed at the end of the path, and warp to the Bellum Highway. The iron balls require regular smithing stones. Probably could have saved the Radonscape joke for this video, huh? And we drop by the Raya Lucaria Crystal Tunnel for the smithing stone bell bearing. It's a good thing this run doesn't go on for fucking ages. We kill a Beyblade and there's no light at the end of this tunnel. Only smithing stones. Only smithing stones. Let's go to Altus. Golden seeds. The sealed tunnel has the next smithing stone bell bearing, so we get that too. Back to Caelid and stand here for several minutes pressing right bumper. I swear this is a speed run. Using the Grail runes, we purchase the necessary smithing stones to get the balls to a +12, which is the highest we'll get for the next few bosses. Upgrade the weapon, and with the remaining 49,000 runes, we dump it mostly into vigor and a little strength. Should probably kill a boss. Margaret's dead.
Oh no, he died!
Didn't like the balls. Usually I take the main gate, but feeling some side gate action today. Not because I love the gank, but because of the Claw Talisman, which will increase the power of jump attacks, and I'll probably do a few of those at some point. Good evening, ladies, gentlemen, guys, gals, and non-binary pals. We've reached our first Great Rune. Whiff the first few attacks. That's one thing about the balls. Get a whiff of these balls, I'm sorry.
That was incredibly inappropriate.
I know, but I had thought of it and I was so proud I just had to say it out loud.
Let's just go.
Realize I didn't equip the talisman I went out of the way for. Get a stance break before the phase transition. That's kind of annoying, means I probably can't skip most of, if not all of phase 2. Never mind, I got another one. Godric lives with just a sliver of health, but one more jump attack does it. First Great Rune. No time to reminisce, so let's move on. Once he stops fucking talking. Back to Caelid and fight the Dragon Barrow Putrid Avatar, and it's Whiff City once again. Fortunately, it's not a difficult boss. His attacks are pretty easy to dodge once you've fought them a few times. Okay, let's not die after I said that. Our diet mainly consists of charged heavy attacks and fishing for stance breaks, so the tier it drops means we're eating good. Plus, we get 90,000 runes, which I use to get 40 vigor, and push strength to 18 for a little bit more damage. Let's do Radahn as our second Great Rune, as there's a few useful things behind him that we may want. Alex isn't here, tragically murdered some hours ago. The summons make this a lot easier, and as long as we stick to Radahn's meteors, we'll be fine. I'd love to narrate this fight a lot, but honestly, I don't know what the fuck's happening. We're able to get a decent amount of charged heavies off, but we're so far off from one-cycling him. Vibe with the gang while he's gone up to the spirit in the sky, and when he comes back, fish for another stance break. Don't get one, but he does do the tracking gravity attack, and that is the worst place to be for it. Radahn hits the dirt, and the stars hit Limgrave. With 2 Great Runes, we fight the Draconic Tree Sentinel, and now here's where I began to worry. We were making really good time, but this is the first boss likely to trip me up. I've never really gotten the hang of fighting the fucker, mainly due to the fireballs, which make backing off and healing much harder. Also the dumb lightning. So I summoned Greathorn Tragoth for the fight, which I only recently found out's here.
Hey, what a fucking idiot.
When you summon for a boss, they not only get more health, but it wouldn't surprise me if the boss's poise is increased a little bit, as stance breaks seemed less common with Tragoth here. Even if that's not true, he kept fucking up the few staggers I get, and it did throw me off. Turns out learning a boss fight solo and summoning for it isn't the genius play I thought it was. I'd like to say that's what gets me killed, but I roll away from the lightning, which means I get roll caught. That was the first death. The next try goes a lot better. Other than this close call, had to make it dramatic, Draconic Tree Sentinel plays nice with the stance breaks. Since you can't riposte him, I take the downtime to let the stamina regain and then get a free charged heavy. That is one thing I need to keep an eye on with the iron balls. Charged heavies do take up a shit ton of stamina. There's plenty of windows to get attacks in, which means you can call me Candace from Phineas and Ferb because you're going down your Operation Exposed. In Lanedale, this avatar drops a 50k rune, so we pulverize it on the way through. Jump over this ledge to grab Lionel's set, as it's just good armor lying there for free. We cash in our golden runes and remembrances for 159,000 Canadian dollars. I don't know. A new talisman pouch is available from the reader in the roundtable hold, and I realise I don't have any useful talismans, and so I go and grab the turtle one to boost stamina recovery. Next up is Godfrey the First Giga Chad, and luckily it's a boss that's very easy to get charged attacks in. You can strafe most of his attacks, and there's decent recovery for him between combos. So I don't know why I trade with him for the most of it. I imagine it's because of my high vigor for this point in the game and good damage. I do get my act together and start dodging towards the end, and I'm rewarded with a second stance break at the fight. I go in for the jump attack finish, and you just had to show me up, Godfrey, huh? Not the cleanest fight, but I'm able to make it right later. See you soon, buddy. With the new talisman pouch, oh, I just figured out what to do with the last one. Guess I'll just leave it open for now. There's 2 talismans on the main path I'll want to switch out between, so it's helpful I guess. I didn't have the turtle talisman on for that fight. If you're wondering why I'm not using Braggart's Raw, it's because I hate the charge moveset it gives. Morgoth is the beginning of Elden Ring's much more agile bosses, so I tap in Melina to lend a hand. She tends to carry her weight a bit more than Tragoth, and also I'm used to fighting Morgoth with her anyway. This is the last boss before our next set of upgrades, but the damage is still pretty decent. Melina takes the heat after I fuck up dodging, and wow, that's a super early stance break. I'm trading a lot with Morgoth, which is fine for now, but in his second phase, I'll want to do that less. Morgoth gets ready to but
Holy crimson skies of death!
it's another stance break. Watch as Melina jumps in at the phase transition.
I just shit out my ass.
We're able to keep the pressure up and his health is going down at a good rate. Be a shame if Morgoth tried to again, but did someone say we stagger him out of it again? Melina draws aggro more than Benoit Blanc drawing conclusions and Morgoth goes down. We get ready to finish the game and god fucking damn it. This bit's boring on every playthrough, so roll medallion, lift. Flame Drake Talisman +1 is on the way, good thing the next boss is the Fire Giant, huh. Forbidden Lands, another lift. Mountaintops, the Smithwick Stone Bell Bearing 3 is here, so we get that. Okino? That's a big screen shake, let's keep moving. Now we are making great time, way better than I thought I was gonna. We haven't even reached Act 2 of the Snyder Cut yet in terms of time, so there's plenty of buffer. Oh fuck you.
Pray for my dad, 'cause everyone is horrid except
The Fire Giant is one of the bosses I dread the most. He has a gigantic health pool, and despite being the size of iconic Marvel villain Stiltman, he's pretty fucking hard to hit consistently where you want him to. Dodge through the scoop, that's good damage. Holy shit, that's actually good damage. It's on its weak point, but that's good damage. Wanna watch me attack thin air? Wanna watch me do it again? We're able to consistently dodge the Fire Giant's attacks and get charged heavies off. Avoid the fire pillars, the proximity fireball, and that's a hitless phase 1. Don't worry, it won't last. Go for the hands, and when he does the eruption attack, run underneath him. Get hit because I can't see what the fuck is happening.
Are you feeling mad?
This is where I begin to tilt a little. In Fire Giant's phase 2, I follow Tarantino's wise guidance and stick to the feet. You do severely less damage, but you're also much less likely to get hit by the Fire Giant's attacks. But when I saw how little the damage was, hopelessness threatened to settle in. I get hit by a fireball, then roll. A second fireball has hit the Tarnished. It's not going well, but as the Fire Giant lies beside me, I go for the Ice Boom. I see red, and green I guess, but with the increased pressure, get a stagger. That did not do a lot. I have to back off during the Fire Pillar attack again, and the Fire Giant clips Torrent as I try and close the distance. I think that's another stagger, but I'm on the wrong side to see whether it was or whether it was just in belly flopping. With 4 heals left, I decide to play a bit riskier and go for the hands. He elbows me.
Oh.
He goes for the fire pillars again, and this time, I can't dodge it. But he moves his hand as I go in for a charged attack and get crushed. He then rolls and I get crushed again. I'm out of heals and it's looking dire. I'm on half health, and a death here means doing the whole goddamn fight again. I'm tickling his mad taint in hopes of a stance break to no avail. He goes for the fire pillar move, but it doesn't reach the back of him, and just like that, the flame of the gods is felled. I don't know why that move didn't extend to where I was standing. I think it might be because it's coded to spawn around where the player is, and when he started the move, I was underneath him. I then moved to the space behind him, so it didn't stretch. Either way, fuck you. I quickly head back to the Church of Repose to grab the ancient dragon smithing stone that's in the mouth of the skull. Say goodbye to Melina, and oh fuck, it's the Godskin duo next. Now, it didn't seem too bad on the first attempt. We're able to bully the Apostle pretty easily, with 2 charged heavies breaking its stance. Use the iframes on the riposte to avoid the noble's fat slam. Another stagger on the Apostle comes soon after. Okay, this isn't looking too bad. We threaten to get boxed into a corner, so I spam dodge to get some distance. The Apostle goes down, and this isn't looking that dire.
Sometimes foreshadowing is relatively obvious.
So the noble has a resistance to strike damage, I'm told now. I go for the jump, get knocked out of the air. Stance break the noble. I switch to fighting the Apostle as it's respawned and it's also the easier one to fight, and now they're both in aggressive states.
Sometimes my genius is... it's almost frightening.
And then the noble decides to phase transition for the hell of it.
What the fuck?
I do manage to get on the pillar before it rolls, and I think I can hit the Apostle from here. I cannot. I only have 1 heal left, and while I'm dodging the noble's sword, I get caught by the Apostle. Oh no. But that's only the second death of the run. We're doing good, don't worry. This time I summoned Bernie and I glanced at the clock. Pretty much 2 hours. It's a fucking mess. I kill the Apostle but then get greedy. The Noble roll out and I get hit badly. Stagger the Noble as the Apostle shows up again and then Bernie dies. Now I'm fighting Godskin Duo with the inflated health of when you summon. Like any sense of accomplishment of this run, I died. Wait, did he hit me with a fireball through the Godskin Noble? This is where I began to truly tilt. You see, when I saw the time before this attempt, I got optimistic that I could not only get 4 hours, but actually beat the game in 3. Why was this? Well, let me tell you. During the setup stage of the run, I formulated a plan that included doing Rainie's questline for the massive boost that is Mimic Tier. But so far, I've managed to get through without it, unscathed. If you're wondering why I chose Radahn as my second Great Rune and got the Belfry as Grace, that's why. As in order to get both the summon and the upgrade materials, you need to go to Noxtella. And by not doing that, I'd saved a whole lot of time. But that was now coming back to bite me, as Godskin Duo was a lot harder without Mimic Tier. That time saved from not getting Mimic Tier was now used on this poor excuse of a boss. A time for the leaderboard was still more than possible, but I needed to accept that the final stretch was going to be more time consuming than I'd originally thought.
It's time consuming.
And that was my biggest flaw.
So dumb.
I let myself dream.
Do you think God stays in heaven because he too lives in fear of what he's created? Here on Earth? Stop looking at me like that.
No. We will get 3 hours, beat the game, and nothing is going to stop me.
Why did they cancel Futurama?
I got real salty toward the Godskin Duo and decided to go get Mimic Tier in the end and just eat the time loss. I then proceeded to die from full damage and then say fuck it, let's keep trying until something sticks.
Let's do it. I wanna be the very best, like no one ever was. To catch them is my real test. To train them is my cause. My whole life has led to this. Time to test my skills. I know I just can't miss. Gonna show the world.
I ignore Bernie and rush in, miss my first attack. 2 staggers on the Apostle, 1, 2. Get a stagger but miss the riposte. As he goes to resummon, we stagger him out of it. Phase transition and I take it to the face, another stagger and the Noble is down. It's almost like staggering their respawns makes this fight way easier. And another stagger to finish. How's to describe the fight, Captain Holt?
You are a and I hope you get shoved right into your
Wow, well that was definitely not too thinky.
Godskin Duo drops the final smithing stone bell bearing we need, so we grab the final few smithing stones and max out the iron balls. This is pretty much how powerful we're gonna get, but on our way to the next boss, we pick up the Dragon Crest Great Shield Talisman +2 to reduce the physical damage we take. And mostly because I had the spare pocket. After flipping the bird, we say hi and goodbye to the Draconic Tree Sentinel outside the boss door. Malekith, it's nice to see you. Wait, what's the opposite of that? Oh right, fuck you. The biggest problem with the balls is starting to shine through with this fight. Beast Clergyman is incredibly quick and doesn't sit still for very long, so charged attacks aren't quite the bag, but I can't quite seem to jump at the right time. With the clock on my mind and a severe lack of time, I'm jumping in prematurely and getting smacked about. I'm out of feels and not even at second phase before Beast Clergyman chains together the attacks that cause him to step backwards, meaning I miss every single jump and take it straight to the face.
What the fuck is this?
I don't know.
I'm getting flustered and doing all the no-nos. Dodging backwards, getting impatient and just rolling for the sake of it. Attacking too early Malekith.
You gotta tear me apart!
Did I just forget how to fight him?
Yes!
Is a death. What's another add-on to the pile? This attempt we get a stance break. Holy hell, been a hot minute since one of those. Turns out you have to actually hit the boss to get one. And another. Did I remember how to fight him now? We don't take the riposte. If you phase transition off a riposte, it fucks up the scripted opening and doesn't teleport you to where it should. First try at Malekith, he goes behind a pillar, the camera unlocks, and because of that, I got hit by his combo and died. I threw my controller and had to repair it to the console. We don't need to see how that one ended. The next attempt starts a lot better. We roll through his attack and get nice and close, getting 2 charged heavies off into a stagger. We miss the next few, but strafe the counter and get another stance break. Call me the 13th track on the best Taylor Swift album, because that was clean. Then I get my cheeks clapped, but that's progress. The next time, it's the same flawless phase 1, but this time, I don't fuck up the scripted opener. We stagger him after 2 charged attacks. Malekith lands inside the pillar and teleports back to the middle of the arena. It throws me off a little, we get hit. Safety heal, he does the punishable attack. We hit him, he hits us, but then we get a stagger and Malekith meets his end. And now, at least Gideon's next, and he's usually pretty easy.
I'm gonna tell him.
Don't you dare.
We were so close! So close.
Fuck that rejection spell. The problem with Gideon is that in the time it takes to close the distance between me and him, he can charge a spell, and shotgun me in the face. He can change Comet infinitely because he has infinite FP and stamina, and if 2 of those hit, it's just game over. You can block Comet and Azure with the pillars in the room, which is pretty cool, but the golden discs are just a back off and wait move. The winning attempt is just me running around and very slowly ducking and weaving to occasionally get a hit in. It's not worth going for a jump attack as he'll just roll out of the way. He can't have a stance break, so this build is ass against him. I'd show you the full fight, but it's not that interesting. Man, fuck that guy. In my experience, he's either super easy or super hard, and of course, I just wanted to make it a bit more harder to get 3 hours.
With your incessant token!
Watching this Godfrey fight back, and I have to say, he really is a great fight. When I first fought him, I didn't think much of him, but now he's just really fun to go against.
What's better than this? Guys being dudes.
I know strafing it is the best way to go around fighting him, but I dodged through out of habit. Get clipped a couple of times, but recover to stance break him. Mistime the roll on his phase 1.5 transition, but fortunately I stance break him so I'm not punished. Yeah, so Horaloo is a bit more untidy. Mistime the roll on his earthquake attack, god damn it. Worse rolls than an amateur baker over here. I get clipped every once in a while, but unlike other bosses, getting hit doesn't lock you into getting hit by the rest of the combo, so we're able to keep the pressure up and get another stance break. Questionable spacing on this, but fair play, I get grabbed. That vigor really helping as we're able to tank it fairly well. Kane comes in for a chokeslam, but we also shrug that off. I'm getting frustrated being on the back foot and rush in, greeting a hit.
And got away with it like a fucking champion!
That's a first try Godfrey. Final boss, with 15 minutes to spare. If we first or second try Radagon and the Elden Beast, we've got 3 hours. With 420,000 in our pocket, we level a few final times. Radagon fortunately stands there for a moment, allowing several charged attacks. Stagger early draws bodes well, but we get hit by his big slam. Finding it difficult to heal as Radagon is incredibly aggressive, but we manage to sneak in an extra stagger. We jump, but we die. We're not on full, and Radagon hits us directly in the face with his biggest slam, and we're atomized. With no time to waste, we head straight back in, and it's more of the same. We get knocked back by his follow-up, but the next hit, he staggers. What do Radagon and I have in common? We're both throwing, but Radagon keeps hurling stuff at me. He keeps going for the grab, but with good spacing, we can clear it easy. And then he gets me with the first slam. I hit jump too late. I threw. With time winding down, we have one more attempt. If we die again, there won't be enough time to try again to get 3 hours. Let's see. Without any heals. We have 5 minutes. Holy hell. Time for an anime comeback. There's enough time at the beginning to get 2 charged heavies in before the Elden Beast sprays fire everywhere. We can get 2 more charged attacks before it swims away. It goes for a melee attack, but we miss the heavy once, so we dodge through. It stabs the sword into the ground, but we dodge that as well. We manage a great time stagger just before its next scripted move. It graces us with another melee attack that we can punish, and another. What's going on? This is a great pattern. We get another stagger and get a free hit after. It goes for the ring attacks, and with Torrent it's super easy, barely an inconvenience. It goes for Elden Stars alongside the rain from above attack, but we're able to dodge it all. I keep going in for melee attacks just to get more hits in. I get clipped by the rain from above move as I try and go for more damage. Time's running out. It goes for the rings again and I check the time, just under 3 minutes. I get a heavy off and miss my follow-up. It goes for the rain above move and I fear for my life. I try and rush it down. It's one charged heavy off of dying. I dodge the rain above move, but run out of stamina and I can't dodge. I get grabbed and the Elden Beast kills me. We will get 3 hours, beat the game, and nothing is going to stop me.
That may stop you.
You can actually pinpoint the second when his heart rips in half. And now.
And that was my biggest flaw. I let myself try. And the worst part is, we get it on the next attempt. We finish with a time of 3 hours, 4 minutes and 34 seconds. GG.
Fight! Battle pass!
I'm fine. Really. As you may surmise, things got a little tense towards the end, and decidedly less casual. I got caught up in trying to get the best time that I forgot the main rule. Have fun. So if there's a moral, don't do this. We knew this from the start. Speedrunning is discipline, and one you can't half-ass and be casual about. The idea of doing something over and over again for perfection kind of flies in the face of doing it that way. It's a different sauce, and one that is apparently too spicy for me. It might not be for you. There are so many ways you can improve my time. Plan the route, get a weapon that fits some of the later bosses more. Don't die. Am I gonna try again? Maybe, but it won't be for a while. But y'all are welcome to try and beat my time. Please let me know if you do. I'll put it in the next video. Just know you can't go into it with the mindset that I did. Speaking of the next video, I'll be releasing the first part of a new series soon, followed by a discussion of some kind. Hit me up on Patreon if you want to be a part of the vote that decides what exactly that discussion ends up being. And remember,
I should have been the one to fill your